Hi guys, it's Misty. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have a new challenge to share with you for the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. This week it is use more than one stamp, and we're featuring Honeybee Stamps products. So if you have anything by Honeybee Stamps, we encourage you to use it, but if you don't, that's quite all right. You can still join the challenge. So I'm going to start out with this new wood grain die by Simon Says Stamp, and I cut it out of Bristol Smooth paper, and I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending on it, starting out with some gathered twigs. Yeah, gathered twigs. That sounded weird in my head, but and then I'm going to add some ground espresso just to darken it up a bit. Now, I'm so used to the Bristol paper now and ink blending that I did try it on some Nina 80-pound cardstock, and I just wasn't liking it. It just doesn't blend as well on that paper now, I don't think, because I'm used to this paper. So it definitely blends a lot smoother on the Bristol. So I decided to cut out an oval frame instead of having a solid oval. So I just put the smaller oval on top of the bigger one and cut it out, and it gave me this nice little oval frame. And here I'm using my handy little glue syringe. I learned about this from Corinne Wiskman. I'll put a link to her Etsy shop in the description below because she sells these little syringes. But it's a nice clog-free way to store your glue. All those non-clog little bottles, I think I've bought every one there is. They didn't work for me. They always ended up clogging. So this is just a nice way to eliminate the clogging. I think it's a brilliant idea. So I glued the wood grain block down first to the oval, and then I cut off the extra because that wood grain, all those little cuts in the die, I was afraid I was going to end up with 50 little strips of, brown cardstock if I cut the ends off before it was glued down. So I'm using the wrapped stitch rectangle die from Memory Box on the Fog cardstock from Simon Says Stamp for my background. And then I'm going to stamp out this adorable little bunny a couple times because I wasn't quite sure what color I wanted to color him for this card. So I'm going to use some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink, and I'm going to stamp it out a couple times just to give me a nice bold image. Isn't he so adorable? And the sentiments on the matching stamp set that goes with it are really cute. There's some really cute, funny sentiments. So I cut out all the Copic coloring on this just because, it's very basic, and I'm trying to keep my video down to a reasonable time. Oh, but you can always speed it up by clicking the little settings icon on the video, and you can find it'll say speed, and you can either speed up the video or slow down the video. I won't say that in all the videos. That's the last time I'll say it. But it's pretty handy. I love that feature. Okay, so I didn't cut out all the Copic coloring, but I cut out most of it. I didn't really do anything fancy. I colored the top one, and I thought I was going to use a white bunny for this, and I don't know. I guess I could have, but at this point I just thought the little brown bunny gave it more character. Okay, I'm going to show you how I am now storing my little ink sponges. I have these coin pockets, and I saw somebody do this, and I can't remember who it was. See, a lot of my Distress Oxide ink lids are ruined because I usually Velcro the sponge on the bottom, and then I would stack them, and they made a mess of my ink pad. So I saw somewhere, I think it was on Instagram, where somebody used the coin pockets, and I love that idea. So I ordered some of those coin pockets, and I think I like that way. It's kind of hard to get them in and out a little bit, but I was storing them in individual little baggies, and that was kind of a pain too. So I just didn't have anywhere to store the little baggies. But so we're gonna try this way out. I already store my ink swatches like this in these little coin pockets. So yeah, we'll see. All right, so I am using this warp stencil by Altenew. I hadn't used it yet, so I was stoked to bust it out and use it for this card. I was only going to use it in that top portion of the oval, so I really didn't even need to do this much, but it still looks really cool. So I'm using the Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink. And what I love about the stencil, or one of the cool things, is you can just like tilt the stencil a little bit or turn it either way and then put another color on, and you'll get even more of those little shooting, whatever those are. I don't know what they're called, but I chose to use the Nuvo glitter paste. I think it was Jennifer McGuire do a video where she used this paste on the stencil, and same thing, just kind of tilted a little bit, and it looked so cool. I think she did a couple other colors too, but this is I think it's called Moonstone, if I remember right. And just the peacock feathers in this I thought looked really cool together, so I decided to use that to fill my top part of that oval. But I sat on it too long. I didn't clean it right away. I think I texted someone or did something, and now I can't get the glitter off the stencil. So it's okay. I can still use it. It works just fine. But just if you like clean stencils, I highly suggest you clean it right away. All right, I'm just adding some craft foam because I figured that paste was going to make it kind of stand up anyway, and it might look kind of funky, so I just decided to pop the whole thing up. Looks like a little boat. Always use a score tape for craft foam. I won't use any other tape. And then love these little strips. It was perfect for this top part of the frame. I imagine these would be really good for shaker cards too, because you can mold them whatever shape you want. All right, and then I thought it would just be easier to use the same oval and cut the same shape out to use for the back of my little scene here. Now, if I were to do this again, I think, see, the problem is I cut it the same size as the biggest oval, so when you turn the card to the side, you can see where that warp stencil, you can see the color, if that makes sense. I mean, I should have probably cut it down a little bit, but I didn't want you to see a funky cut line either, so I just left it the way it is. Yeah, see how you can see the warp underneath it? Like the back of it, a nice big ink blended background. But it didn't show through, so I'm recycling the cardstock. I originally was going to do that. I was going to do just ink blend some blue in the background, but I didn't really like the way it was turning out, so. Love this Merlot color ink by Simon Says Stamp. I thought it was perfect for this. It says, "Life happens, wine helps." I thought that was cute. The wine has a period after it though, so I just masked it off and stamped it without the period. And I loved that color ink so much, and I just didn't think that was enough. So this was a practice frame that I did, and I colored it first to see if I liked it, and it turns out I am going to end up using it. But loved how well this color matched to the Merlot ink pad. And I just really love this color against that fog cardstock too. So at the end, I'm going to end up adding that extra one that I was using for practice just to hold it over this one to see if I like the color before I ruin the whole thing. That one on top, I'm going to put it over the top of this one and just give it just that little bit extra dimension. I think, it's the details. It's the little things that I love about card making, and just that little bit with an extra frame I think makes a big difference. And it was looking a little too plain for me, so I took a couple of the wine glasses out of the Time for Wine stamp set by Simon Says Stamp and did some tone-on-tone background stamping. I used the fog ink pad to stamp those wine glasses all over the background. And I'm just going to use some score tape to pop up that whole little oval there. And then I got to glue my little bunny down. Here I'm using my handy little glue syringe again. I just love this. What's in there is the Nuvo glue. I love the Nuvo glue, and that's what I've been using. But every time I went to use it, it was clogged, and I'd had the little needle in it. Or right, no, the needle that was from one of the non-clog bottles that I purchased. It didn't work, but anyway, so it was one of the bottles that had a needle in it to keep it from getting clogged. That's what I used on the Nuvo glue, and still clogged every time I used it. So hasn't clogged since I put it in the little syringe. Just using some 110-pound cardstock for my card base. And that's it. I didn't do any extra embellishments. I did add that little wine glass that I Copic colored right there. I added that to the inside of the card. But yeah, I just didn't really, I thought it was fine the way it was. I didn't want to add anything to it. So here is that extra frame that I colored just to see if I was going to like it before I did it to my actual oval. And I'm just going to add it to the over the top of the other one. And that is it. That is my card for this week. I hope you guys like this video. Be sure to check out the Simon Says Stamp Wednesday challenge. Each week they will choose a random winner to win a $50 shopping spree at Simon Says Stamp. And there's a new challenge each week. So head on over there. You can head to my blog for more details on this card. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.